Hey there, YouTubers. So this is the party barn, which has been constructed over the last year, I suppose. We had our first party in it a couple of months ago. Sorry, I can't really do the wide angle lens or something, couldn't I? But so in this area here, there used to be like a single story lean-to shed, which was built on telegraph poles. And all this rusty tin, which I've used on the walls, that used to be the roof of the old pole barn, they call them in this country. And that was all rotten and falling down. We had some heavy snow and the roof timbers were rotten and a bit of the roof caved in, so it was leaking, and the actual tin has got a lot of holes in it. So I decided to build this. We had some this newer corrugated galvanized steel. I had a big pile of that left over from a job a few years ago, and so that was good. I could use that for the roof, so we've got a decent roof, and also had quite a bit left over for some sides. As you can see, there's a few holes in the wall still. It's not, there's already a big hole that runs all the way along there because I've kind of rushed putting the sides on and didn't key them in around the joist or anything. So there's a great big hole on the top, and I thought, well, really, it's never going to be warm in there, and I'd have to move the scaffolding to put it along this side again to do these bits here. Don't really want to do them on a ladder for falling off reasons. So that's how those little holes have stayed there. Anyway, let's go and have a look underneath and we'll see what how it's built. You can see scaffolding on the gable ends at the moment, and that was fairly useful, the scaffolding. Glad I had it. It's called Quick Stage if you want to look it up. That's quite good stuff. So here we are downstairs, lots of crap piled up everywhere, and this is the how I did the, well, we'll start with the foundations. That sounds quite reasonable. I've actually made a separate video on this, so I'll see if I can find that and either link or I'll cut it into this bit, into this video. But in effect, I didn't dig any holes for the foundations. I just cast them directly on the ground surface. So I hammered a whole bunch of rebar in the ground, so the whole thing can't slide sideways if that was going to happen. And then I used some scaffolding planks for shuttering, and I just cast a block of concrete directly onto the ground surface, which in this area is like an old forest track. So it's got like bits of stone in it and stuff, so it's a reasonable surface for bearing onto. And then I put layers of concrete blocks on top of that to adjust the height from side to side, because there's quite there's a bit of a downward slope going that way. So so there's more concrete blocks on the downhill side. So the timbers are 5B2 treated timbers, and I mean, they use, in this case, I've used them for everything. So I've used them for the uprights at 1.2 meter spacings, and then also the contentious for the joists, floor joists at 600 mil centers as well. And obviously these are like highly insufficient in terms of modern building standards, because a span like that of, I suppose it's 2.4 meters from here to here, you would need a much larger timber than that, a lot deeper, but that's more expensive. So I put these like cross bracings in like this to effectively shorten each timber. And actually when you're upstairs, it doesn't feel too bad. It's a little bit bouncy, a little bit jiggly, but it can hold a lot of weight. We had like 50 or 60 people in there at the party, so it's like, what's that? It must be 10 people, probably weigh about a ton, 6 tons or something, 6 tons worth of people. So all jumping up and down. So it stood up to some sort of test. As I started running out of timber, I've used lots of different kind of bits of odd firewood which I had lying around for the cross bracings, and that seems to have worked all right. There you go, got some interesting cross bracing there, that's a good one. Oh, I just moved, that's weird. Yeah, so we've got we've got water and electric going in. I got a small mini consumer unit here, which does the sockets and the lights for upstairs and downstairs too. We've got some water going in for the toilet, which is up there, and I've got some foul water pipe here for the toilet, which is runs down to a septic tank down here. I've got some like large cross bracings you can see there, some bits I haven't finished off yet, and yeah, like a bit of ad hoc wiring. Anyway, so that's the downstairs. Let's go and have a look upstairs and see what we can see. So here you go, here's the steps going up, and these are made out of scaffolding boards and plywood for the treads. I think that's called the risers. They're also scaffold boards as well, and this the handrails, you guessed it, scaffold boards for those as well, and I've kind of like roughly cut those at the top to make them a bit more comfy for your hand to go on. These uprights here, that was an ash tree which had ash dieback in our hedge over here. Where's that? I think there's another one actually. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but in the UK at the moment we've got this thing called ash dieback. It's a fungal disease. It gets down in the heartwood of the ash tree and kills them, which is bad news for if you're an ash tree, and also if you want a habitable planet, because we really need more trees, to be honest. So it's a shame they're dying. Anyway, but gave me some uprights for use in this stair balcony combo. So let's go up here. Nice ash tree, upright type thing. This is all like bits of 4x2 and stuff. I did my little trick on this wood of using wire wool and vinegar solution, and you slosh it all over it and it gives it this, I think, nice sort of weathered grey colour. Yeah, so that's that. All the windows and doors for this came from a conservatory which I bought on eBay for £1, and they're like okay. I mean, they're pretty past it, to be honest, but they're okay. They work. We should keep that one closed because I think it's swollen up because it's got wet. A little bit, yeah. Anyway, but not too bad. So anyway, here's the inside. Got my drums. Got your toilet in there, and then you got a bar over there, and we kind of made some sort of ad hoc squash court here on the floor. It's like basically that seascape at the end there is like, you've got that line there is the same height as a tennis net on a tennis court, and so then you kind of play. It's sort of like mini squash stroke tennis kind of game. So you've got to bounce it off the wall, get it in these little boxes. Anyway, that's quite good. What else we got? We got some opening windows here. Now these came from a conservatory which is at ground level, and they're very low windows. So I've got some like a sort of ad hoc rail in here so people don't fall out. We use for this game we use like squash rackets and like and the little foam balls, these ones, because they're not very bouncy, but they're bouncier than a squash ball. So that wall has got quite a lot of give in it, so when you hit something against it, it doesn't bounce off it particularly well, but these seem to work okay. You can hear the rain on the roof. I did buy roofing felt for this building, and I was going to put roofing felt underneath the tin. But then I read about, I'd already bought the roofing felt as like a Tyvek type product. But then I read about bats getting stuck in it, and we have like a lot of bats here, and I thought really like, for the sake of a shed, I don't really want to be responsible for killing bats, so that's still in the roll downstairs. So anyway, here you go. Here's the bar. We had various boozes being served out there the other day. This piece of wood was given to my by a friend of mine, Simon, very generously, and it's a lovely piece of, I think, old English yew, and it's got the most incredible grain patterns in it. And so it took a while. My belt sander was broken, which might have been a good thing. And you can see it's still got the sort of bandsaw marks in a bit where it hasn't been sanded down perhaps as much as some people might. And I filled any cracks in with wax. I don't really like using any kind of like fillers with all phenols in them and all that sort of thing. Yeah, and over here we've got a beer barrel sink. So this is made out of half a beer barrel, which found washed up on a beach in Scotland a few years back whilst doing some work for People Against Plastic Pollution, a charity that I'm involved with. And got a little tap here, goes down there, and then it just shoots out that pipe. Whee! So it's good, isn't it? Yeah, so I haven't really got anything in the way of fridges or anything like that in here because it's just not used often enough. For this wall here, I made like a curve, which I did with corrugated iron, which goes around the corner. It's because just curves are quite nice, aren't they? If you can try and incorporate a curve, that's always nice. What have we got here? Oh, like a toilet, yeah. So decorate it with peacock feathers, put some misting on the window, so it's a bit of privacy in here. We've only got cold water, and yeah, so that's about it really. That's the party barn, and I suppose it might seem a bit extravagant building a large room like this, which doesn't get used very often, but to be honest with you, it was reasonably inexpensive. As you can see, everything in here is pretty cheap stuff. OSB for the floors and some of the walls. The actual timbers were about, so all the timber for this was about £1,200, I think. I bought a whole pack of 5x2 timber, and that was about £1,000, I think. And then I had to buy a bit extra, 200. The stuff for the foundations was about 600. So what's that? 1,800. I already had the galvanized steel for the roof. That would probably cost about another 3,000, I should think. But it was just sitting around not doing anything. The walls, they were free because they're for the old one. I used a lot of the old timber for all these like cross bracings in the roof, and also the purlins, which are far too far apart. But I kind of worked out how many I would have, and I used some of the 5x2 cut down to the same dimensions as these old purlins which came out the old building. And some of the tin, it's really shot to bits. You can see all the light coming through that bit. Well, I quite like that. It's a bit rustic, isn't it? Yeah, so it was a fun project. The roof was a bit scary, but doing that. But I didn't actually walk on this side of the roof at all. I just stayed on this side, which is quite shallow sloping. The idea was to put solar panels on this side of the building. I'm not really sure if I want to put expensive solar panels on here. We're like right under the trees. So, you know, if anything falls down, it's just going to destroy the solar panels, I expect, and the shed, because it's pretty lightly built. But yeah, but it was a good project. I really enjoyed doing it. And I would, if you're ever thinking of building something in your garden or anything, I'd just go for it. It's great fun. And you know, this kind of method of building a timber frame with treated timber and then attaching boards to the inside is a really quick and satisfying way of building something. The main thing to remember is, and I really did try to do it this time because I've built a lot of wooden boxes over the years, is to try and get the room the correct size for the sheet material, so you don't have to cut it, which you can see I haven't done here, despite having done it so many times before. But and you can see, so where I built this little cubicle for the bathroom to go in, we've got a whole sheet of OSB here, but then I've got this bit at the top which I had to fill in, which is more cuts, and that can be a bit frustrating, to be honest. But yeah, it's gone okay. Got lights, and oh yeah, the lights. Got these sort of string of bulby lighting up there. String of bulby lighting with a little dimmer switch on, which is quite nice. Yeah, so there you go. Hope you enjoyed the tour. If you're going to build something, if you're thinking about building something, then you should definitely build something. It's great fun, and I think I would literally build something like that again just for the pleasure of building it. It's great. And if you think how much entertainment I've got out of this and fitness over a year, lots of carrying stuff around, all the sort of mental satisfaction of doing it, and it probably cost less than a moderately priced holiday. So yeah, go for it. Anyway, thanks very much. Cheerio. Bye.